Observer is the observed. Cats over dogs, 6,900 over 500. A bit of a cheeky statement, a little bit mischievous. But today we're going to be exploring that on a hot ass fucking day. I'm absolutely cooking out here. But we are smoking American Spirit Gold, not gold, sorry, yellow mellow taste. Because I'm yellow. We got the cellophane on. Let's get this off. Got some Coke Zero in a wine glass because we're bougie. So yeah, let's get this out. Boom. This is what they look like. Pretty basic. It says the spirit of summer behind it. So this is the packaging. This is what they look like. I didn't want to get the menthol because it is my favorite, the American Spirit menthols, but just don't have a preference for it at the moment. Especially since I tried the Marlboro Blue. But yeah, let's pop these open. Boom, like so. Pretty basic. You can see the Thunderbird. I think that's what that is. So let's see. Let's rip it open. Pretty clean rip. Yeah, let's get one out. I do want to put the trash up here, but I feel like it's gonna blow away. So let's get one of these things out. Have a look at them. Boom, right here. Has the gold band around it. Small line of perforation, and it is absolutely packed. So light it up and talk about the most serious thing, man. This is literally life or death, you know. It's like cats or dogs. And I'll give my hot take on that. Super clean. Just feels like smoke. American Spirit. Absolutely cooking out here, man. But yeah, you know, people say I'm a cat person or I'm a dog person. It's like I never really understood that. It's like, bro, they're both fucking cute. They're both like the most adorable things ever. But if we go a little bit deeper, you know, why do we get a dog over a cat or a cat over a dog? And I've observed that people often get dogs because they want a companion. And they're great companions, you know. But it gets to a point where you realize people are getting a dog so they can get reassurance. The love, the action, the wagging of the tail, the constant need for attention from them. And it feels good. You're like, I may have a stressful work, I may have friends that are fucking annoying, but at least this dog, that's my dog, you know? And a cat is completely different. A cat just kind of wants to do its own thing. It shows you some reassurance once in a while. It shows you love in its own way, its own affection. And that's about it, right? And to kind of go back, you know, in the Middle Ages, they said burn all the cats with the witches because they didn't know what to make of it. You know, a black cat was a bad luck, and they would literally kill cats. And what is it about that? Because the Egyptians said something completely different. They said, we worship them, the great eye of the cat. There's something about them. And people kind of get caught up in ideas and they start making cats like a godlike thing. They say, oh, we got it. They're like a dimension into another world. It's missing the point, right? But if you observe a cat versus a dog, you'll notice a few interesting things. dog needs constant attention. If you leave it, they literally get anxiety. They need constant love, constant affection. And a cat is kind of wild, you know? I heard scientists say, like, a cat with its evolution is the most well designed for its environment. Functionally, just the structure. And it's interesting how we create images in our heads towards a dog versus a cat. And it's clear to me because you can see it in things like movies, right? When a dog dies, man, you don't have to be a cat person or a dog person. You're like, what the fuck, man? It's almost like a human has died. And what happens is we built this image of all the memories, of all the experiences with them, and somehow that dies with it. But if a cat dies, it's like, okay, you know? And there's something to that, man. Something about the fact that a cat is just constantly observing. You know, a cat will just stare at you, just to look at you. Whereas a dog, as soon as they see you, reaction, right away. Sensitivity, alertness, all of it just coming at you at once. But a cat is always present. Is always just watching. And that's interesting to me. But a dog wasn't always like that. It was a wolf. It's made to kill, made to survive, made to be attuned with its environment. And we corrupted it. We bred them. We made them into this lovable thing that gives us something in return. But a cat, it's still wild. It still has that intelligence. Not intelligence that it's smarter than a dog, but intelligence in a sense, awareness without the memories, the experiences coming in. You know, like a dog, like a border collie, it can memorize up to like 200 tricks, 200 different things, maybe more. And it is such a great working dog. And it has this capability to memorize. And it's pretty clear that a dog probably stores memory and thinks more than a cat. So when we see a cat, maybe it's primal within us. That's something that is just looking at us as a threat. And we go, why are you looking at me like that? You know? And we see it as a threat. We don't see it as something that is just observing. But with the dog, right away, gets small, wags his tail, and you're like, companion, a friend. And so the type of person that gets a dog is the type of person that constantly wants reassurance, constantly wants this love. But a person who has a cat, you can see how supple they are, how present. And there's something to learn from that. With a dog, if you mistreat it, it remembers. With a cat, if something bad happens, they drop it immediately and they just live. And that's interesting. What is it about the human mind that stores all these images about this thing? It's almost like, is it love if it's artificial? You're buying a dog because you feel lonely. You're buying a dog because you want love back. But you buy a cat or you adopt. And you're like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? And so that's interesting. And in the same way, with something like Bitcoin, you see how I effortlessly turned this into a show? No, but it's interesting what Bitcoin is doing to gold, right? Gold for 5,000 years has been the store of value. And slowly Bitcoin is creeping up into that. To be the next version, a better version of gold, where SPX 6900, it's doing the same thing except towards the stock market. A better version. And as far as I can tell, it's not clear to me that these things are necessarily the next version. Because to me, these phenomena have kind of played out. It was inevitable that we were gonna domesticate wolves and turn them into dogs. And at some evolution time, maybe they were perfect working dogs, but somewhere along the line it became a thing for validation, reassurance, constantly giving us this sense of, I'm lonely, I hate my work, but at least I have this, right? And it just somehow seems wrong, man. I'm not a dog person or a cat person. In fact, I grew up with dogs. In India, I used to see, literal babies in the street, like this small. And there was one time a stray dog and I wanted to take care of it, So I'm not a dog person or a cat person, but what is it about the human mind that destroys everything that is beautiful? And so you see something like SPX come along. It has its own beauty. And ironically, maybe 10, 15 years from now, it may become the thing that is trying to change. Who knows? The Egyptians looked at cats like gods. And you gotta take their words in a different weight, man. Because a person from today is so distracted, so confused. They're not in tune with nature. They're not present with it. So when someone from back then, without any distraction, says, the eye of the cat, right? The alertness, the attention, the presence, not thinking about future, ruminating about the past. It's its own being. And in some sense, Bitcoin isn't the next gold, it's its own thing. And in some sense, SPX 6900 isn't the next version, it's its own thing. Right place at the right time. And so the right person that sees SPX 6900, it's similar to a person who chooses a dog over a cat or a cat over a dog. If you want constant reassurance, you're going to be looking at the chart. Give me the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 day movement, right? But the beauty of something like SPX that says, there is no chart. We decided we're not going to look at the chart. Man, there's something profound about that. And so, the observer is the observed. Cats, it's its own thing. SPX 6900, it's its own thing. Flip the stock market. And persist forever.